We might not have reached the days of laser guns and freeze rays just yet, but police and military technology has become pretty amazing even so. In fact, some of the gadgets they use aren't just futuristic, they're downright unbelievable. So from a car with a built-in web shooter to an automated robot surveillance snake, let's take a look at some of the most advanced next-generation police gadgets that you won't believe exist. Doorstruction. If you're trying to catch a criminal off guard, loudly breaking down their door probably isn't your best bet. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to blow something up without making an absolute racket. That's why SWAT teams and members of the police force have started using a sneaky little gadget called the Homatro Door Blaster. This clever device can quietly breach through doors without needing any explosives, and it works in seconds. First, the magical machinery is pressed up against the door in question. Then, because the whole thing is remote operated, the operator can step back before hitting a button on the controller. As soon as they do, compressed air is released from the device, activating a system of hydraulics inside the blaster. This generates a tremendous amount of force, but will break open the door without any loud explosions. Handy. Personally though, I don't see the need for any of this high-tech gadgetry. Just give me a Taco Bell and I'll be blowing down more doors than the big bad wolf. Oh geez, here comes another one. Bump 'em off. In the movies, everyone loves a good car chase, but whilst they make a great cinematic spectacle, they're pretty darn dangerous in real life. Which is where the grappler police bumper comes in. The ingenious device works by deploying a nylon net from the front bumper of a police vehicle. If the police are in pursuit and close enough to the back of the car they're chasing, the net will wrap itself around the suspect's rear tire, stopping it in its tracks. Damn. The grappler was invented by a man called Leonard Stock who magicked up the idea after watching a police pursuit show. An innocent motorcyclist had been hit during the chase, and Leonard went to bed that night unsettled over the injustice. He sat awake thinking about solutions to the problem, and by 3 a.m. that night the idea was fully formed. You see, most immobilization devices the police use, such as spike strips, all rely on being able to get in front of the runaway vehicle, which is pretty tough and very dangerous when car chases are usually so fast. The grappler, however, allows police to stop the vehicle from behind and creates enough space between both vehicles to prevent any tragic crashes. And now it's been used to great success, including in Arizona, where Leonard comes from. So it may look like it's been plucked from your favorite comic book, but it's a real-life criminal's worst nightmare. High-tech hats. The COVID-19 pandemic brought virtually the whole globe to a standstill. Even the slightest cough from a passerby was enough to bring me out in a cold sweat. But police in China had a wild trick up their sleeves, or rather, on their heads, to help prevent the virus from spreading. They were equipped with high-tech helmets capable of reading the body temperature of anybody up to 16 feet away. Made by a manufacturer in Shenzhen, the helmet was originally designed for facial and number plate recognition. Yet its most useful feature ended up being its temperature gauge. Using an infrared camera in combination with augmented reality software, it gives the wearer an audible and visual signal when someone within range has an unusually high temperature. And it can scan crowds at the rapid rate of up to 200 people a minute. So yeah, pretty useful in a pandemic. When technology is this snazzy though, it always comes with a pretty hefty price tag. These helmets cost a whopping $6,680 each, meaning you might want to think twice before promising your COVID-conscious grandmother one for Christmas. Digital doggos. Robots can be hella creepy. I mean, have you seen The Terminator? So when I saw this four-legged canine robot that's been trialed by the New York Police Department, it didn't exactly fill me with joy. Nicknamed the DigiDog, the electronically powered dogbot was created by American robotics company Boston Dynamics. It can be controlled remotely and has cameras, lights, and microphones built into its body, so police can scope out a potentially dangerous place without putting themselves at risk. Back in 2020, the NYPD used the dog to assist them with a couple of precarious scenarios, including a hostage situation. But after footage of the robot hit the internet, it went viral and got a ton of backlash. Instead of being reassured by the automated dog, people found it terrifying and were concerned it could be abused and used as an aggressive surveillance tool. I get it. As well as being a privacy concern, if the DigiDog was ever weaponized, the consequences could be dire for everyone. I mean, what if it got in the wrong hands? So the NYPD abruptly stopped using the dogs. What do you think though? Should they be reintroduced, or are robotic dogbots a power nobody should have? Let me know down in the comments. Shape-shifting shield. If I asked you to list the coolest gadgets on the planet, I bet you wouldn't jump straight to shields. They're pretty basic, right? Wrong. There's a new shield in town and it's nothing short of amazing. The Swift Shield is a bulletproof guard designed to resolve all of the shortfalls of a traditional shield. It's lightweight, compact, and easily transportable, all down to an innovative foldable origami design known as the Yashimura crease pattern. This allows the shield to fold down small enough to pop straight into the trunk of a police car, where it can be whipped out at a moment's notice. But it's not just super convenient, this thing packs some serious strength. Made of not one, not two, but 12 layers of protective Kevlar, the shield can withstand bullets fired at close range and won't even topple over. Kevlar is the same material used for bulletproof vests. As well as being flexible, its tightly woven fibers have a very closely bound molecular structure. The insane strength of these molecular bonds means it's extremely hard to pierce the material, because you'd need a huge amount of energy to break the bonds apart. In fact, it's 5 times stronger than steel. The shield is still in its prototype phase for now, but when it's on the market, I'm sure it'll be a purchase the whole police force can get behind. RoboCop. Step aside, Paul Blart. There's a new mall cop in town. Only this one's significantly less human. Meet Nimbo, the world's first AI-powered security robot. The hat's extra, but this little fellow will patrol a building scanning for potential threats and security breaches all by itself. It just needs somebody to program its route. Once programmed, the bot follows a set path, and using the combination of its clever onboard AI cameras, sensors, and microphones, it'll detect any potential criminal activity it comes across. Once it does, it'll approach and blast out audio warnings to try and scare any bad guys off. What's more, it streams footage of the whole encounter to the owner's smartphone. Pretty neat, right? Although police aren't using it just yet, it's not hard to see how incredibly useful this would be for them. Nimbo can even be connected to drones, so the whole automated security system works from land and air. Don't get me wrong, that's pretty crazy, but the best feature has to be the robot's ride-on mode. Yep, you can clamber onto it like a Segway and ride around like Blart himself. Well, my parents always told me to dream big. Smart Slide. Turns out Marvel films aren't the only thing that inventors are taking inspiration from. If you've ever played Halo, then this might look familiar. It's called the Rat-A-Tech Smart Slide, and it turns an ordinary handheld firearm into something straight out of science fiction. You see, a pistol is made out of several components. One of these is the slide at the top, which, you guessed it, slides back across the gun when it's fired. This reduces recoil and loads the next bullet. The Rat-A-Tech Smart Slide replaces this with a mega high-tech version equipped with a futuristic LED screen. Like something out of a video game, the user can see how many rounds are left in the chamber and whether or not the magazine has been inserted.
Rifle's right over here. Can I show the mag again? awesome. Too cool.
It's all possible due to a special sensor that registers the number of cartridges in the magazine and transmits the information to the display. As clever as it is, though, the nifty gadget holds a whopping price tag just shy of $1,000. Ouch. As such, it's not seeing regular police use at the moment, but since literally everything is going smart these days, I wouldn't be surprised to see law enforcement pick it up soon. I mean, you can't deny it's a pretty smart idea. Super spikes. We all know why the chicken crossed the road, but what about why the remote control flying road spikes did? Yeah, they're real and they're being used by police across the US to stop fleeing vehicles in their tracks. They work similarly to traditional spike strips by puncturing the tires of a criminal's car. But unlike traditional spike strips, they're not slow and cumbersome to lay across the road. Nope, these ones, made by Dynasystems, can be flung out at the touch of a remote control. All you need to do is set the case at the side of the road and wait for the perfect moment to pull the trigger. Then once the car is approaching, fire away. This means that not only are the spikes super fast to set up, they're also much harder to spot by any incoming driver. But that's not all. The creator of the Spiky Boys, Eric Spencer, actually came up with the idea as a way to save lives. You see, laying standard road spikes is a dangerous business. If you're too slow, you could be hit. In fact, over 20 officers have been taken out like this. So Spencer set to work coming up with a safer alternative, and thus the remote-controlled spike strip was born. Okay, it's actually called the Dynaspike, but that sounds more like a D-list wrestler than a useful police gadget. Bozina Beast. Some people are scared of clowns. Others are scared of spiders. Me? I'm scared of Bozina Security System's huge 20-ton riot control system. Seriously, this thing is an absolute beast. It might look like something out of the last Transformers movie, but the colossal machine is very real. Instead of transforming into a talking robot, though, it's actually designed to protect police officers from street rioters and other potential dangers. Up to 38 officers can shelter behind a huge 24-foot fireproof and bulletproof shield on the front. And it can expand and contract too. So despite the vehicle's size, it can fit down all sorts of streets and completely block them off if necessary. The barrier can also be raised up to 10 feet in the air, allowing officers to move out from underneath like some kind of police army. It's not all barrier and no bite though. It also has weapon ports so officers can fire everything from rubber bullets to smoke and gas grenades through them. Plus, it's equipped with all your typical police vehicle features. You know, flashing lights, loudspeakers, and cameras. Even if a crowd of people somehow manage to get past all of that, it can still easily withstand the pressure from over 100 rioters pushing against it. So yeah, it's pretty indestructible. Nonetheless, this seems like a pretty aggressive solution to crowd control to me. I mean, it's literally designed so that police can shoot, gas, and bulldoze people out of the way. What do you think? Is it the perfect answer to violent street riots, or a step too far? Throwbot. Alright, we've covered some pretty mahoosive gadgets now, but sometimes the best things come in small packages. Or at least that's what I told my ex. Anyway, the Recon Throwbot 2 is a micro-robot barely 8 inches long, but it's strong enough to withstand repeated drops from up to 30 feet high. In fact, as its name suggests, it was designed to be thrown. It's not some kind of over-engineered yo-yo though. Made for the military, the Throwbot can be tossed into a potentially hazardous area where it uses built-in cameras and microphones to capture instant video and audio. This is streamed over to a remote control held by the operator and helps soldiers make an informed decision on their next move. And some models can even be programmed to explode, creating a sneaky distraction. Despite its size, the Throwbot can easily drive over a variety of different terrains and clear all kinds of obstacles. Plus, it can film in complete darkness and is water and dust resistant too. So virtually nothing phases this thing. Maybe if iPhones were as durable, I wouldn't be on my 9th already. Ah, damn it. Exolent. Sadly, Iron Man isn't real. But his suit, on the other hand, that technology really exists. or at least almost. This is the Onyx exoskeleton, aka the police and military uniform of the future. It won't make you fly, but this wearable high-tech outer skeleton will turn you into a superhuman beast. That's because it provides major support to the user's knees and lower body muscles, meaning you won't get tired anywhere near as quickly, and any physical task is made much easier and safer too. Imagine having to jump over a tall fence whilst chasing a speedy suspect, or carrying heavy supplies up a mountain. Sounds exhausting, right? Well, not with this bad boy on. But how does it actually work? Well, the pseudo supersuit has special sensors at the feet, knees, and hips, which collect data from the user's movements and send it to a control module on the waist. Using this info, artificial intelligence can predict the user's next movements and react accordingly. So if the AI detects that you're about to raise your knee, it activates motors in that area which move the exoskeleton to automatically assist you. Crazy. And the technology has piqued the interest of military organizations all over the globe. In July 2020, the US Marines started using a different kind of exoskeleton, the Sarcos Guardian Exo, to help them lift and transport weighty loads. After seeing the commercial though, it feels like it's being advertised as an actual supersuit. Wow, I have no words. I can't send you a supersuit, but I can deliver you some super content. So head on down and hit those like and subscribe buttons and you'll never miss out on another amazing video again. Alright, back to business. Sneaky behavior. Did you know that if some species of worms are cut in half, they don't die? In fact, both halves can regenerate into two fully functioning worms. Well, scientists have created a futuristic robot with this very concept in mind. Meet the snakebot. Just like a worm, if you chop it in half, it'll still function. Say what? It's all down to that chain-like body. You see, the snakebot is made up of a number of independently operating links which form a long chain, giving it its snake-like appearance. Because these links don't depend on one another to function, if any one part of the chain is destroyed, the robot can continue to operate. Okay, cool. But what is it actually used for? Well, technically it's not being used in the field for anything right now. But if a camera was built into it, its design makes it perfect for covert surveillance in the future. The thin, slinky snakebot can maneuver through tight spaces, climb over objects, and even slither up trees. So let's say a soldier needs a panoramic view to scout an area, or maybe a police officer needs to check out a multi-story building with potentially dangerous people inside. The snakebot would be perfect. Just set it down and use a remote control to maneuver it into position. Variants of the snakebot are even being developed with artificial intelligence, so they won't need human input to move at all. Jeez, I really want to see one of these things pitted against one of those dogbots now. Bugged bugs. It's one thing modeling a gadget off of a snake, but researchers in Singapore have taken it one step further. They're developing actual cyborg beetles. That is, real insects that can be remotely controlled from afar. Yeah, seriously. Scientists have mounted tiny battery-powered backpacks on their backs and implanted electrodes into their flight muscles. These allow small electric pulses to be administered to the corresponding muscles, making them contract and steer the bugs left or right. They can even control the speed of the bug by upping the frequency of the pulses. Whoa. Pretty insane, right? Nanyang Technological University has successfully pulled off several experiments like this, electrically controlling the insects with a remote. And over in Washington, they've even been equipped with minuscule cameras to record anything they come across. While for now the footage from such a tiny camera is poor at best, what's to say it won't be much higher quality in the future? Something as tiny and inconspicuous as a beetle could do a pretty amazing job at spying on people. So while we can safely say that the police aren't sending beetles into our homes anytime soon, I'm still going to be freaking out even more than normal if one flies in through my window. Badass barriers. Compared to the other gadgets I've mentioned, you might think this thing looks pretty, well, boring. But oh boy, you'd be wrong. It's called a modular vehicle barrier, and despite that humble design, it's seriously impressive. This lightweight portable barrier is less than 3 feet tall and weighs just 52 pounds. That's lighter than some breeds of dog. Yet incredibly, it can stop 8-ton trucks dead in their tracks. At least if they're traveling close to 20 miles per hour. A truck of that size is a whopping 307 times the barrier's weight. And the craziest part? The barrier doesn't destroy the vehicle or overturn it, meaning the driver won't be seriously harmed. But how can something so lightweight stop something so heavy? Well, that's all down to its unique design. The magic lies in the L shape of the barrier. When a vehicle crashes into it, the momentum is turned down into the ground where it has nowhere to go and is almost completely absorbed. Genius! It's not the only barrier on the block though. Another that deserves a shout out is the Healed HT1 Raptor system. These guys are retractable at the push of a button, and they can stop an 8-ton truck even if it's traveling at a blistering 50 miles per hour. Whoa. The company behind their design are pretty secretive about what makes them so damn tough, but apparently it's due to some seriously heavy-duty internal sheet steel reinforcement. Whilst the bollards themselves will remain unscathed though, the same definitely can't be said for any car that drives into them. Bondmobile. Although we're still a ways off inventing James Bond's invisible surfing car, we do have the insane technology needed for the subsea craft Victa, the world's first speedboat and submarine hybrid. This amazing piece of kit allows special forces to speed along the surface of any river or ocean before completely submerging under the water and covertly traveling to enemy shores. Complete with a diesel-powered engine and powerful water jets, whilst in its boat form, it can race across the water at almost 50 miles per hour. It's made out of super tough carbon fiber too, so it can withstand a beating, but a special foam core keeps it light. When you're ready to submerge, all you need to do is press a button and you'll be underwater in just 2 minutes. To achieve this feat, the Victa completely floods its cabin, effectively sinking the vessel. Therefore, anyone inside has to wear diving gear. They don't breathe with their personal tanks though. They're for emergencies. Instead, the Victa has its own built-in air supply to plug into, which has enough air to keep 8 people going for 4 hours. This is more than enough time considering there's only enough fuel to propel the vehicle 30 miles once submerged. Although the Victa is still in the development stage at the time of this video's release, the first prototype was tested back in 2021 and it's highly likely to be used by militaries of the future. With an astronomical price tag of $11 million though, I'll have to wait until my big lottery win before I can coast around the ocean pretending to be 007. Okay, that's about all we have time for today, folks. Which one of those crazy gadgets were you most impressed by? Let me know down in the comments below, and thanks for watching.